Okay, something wrong with Alex link, man. That's weird. Let me set up one for him. Okay, so all the people who are attending, sorry guys, this is the first time it happened. So anyways, no, for some reason, it's not allowing some of the panelists to join. So let me do, okay, it's good that I have 1,000 emails so I can use them to set up that. So that's good.
It's all the fun in a live show, you know?
Yeah, man, we're already being recorded. People can watch live on YouTube what bullshit we're doing. But anyways, real stuff. Okay. And I'm not worried, man. I mean, there is more serious stuff than that. No, a link doesn't work, we set up a new one. So nothing's gonna happen. Okay, so we're gonna set up Alex. Okay. Okay, so I guess Alex will be joining in a second. We're live on YouTube. We have actually people watching us. So guys, we're almost done. So let me post on LinkedIn the link and we can get started with the webinar. One of the attendees, Star Entrepreneurs event with the mega star, Nick Penev. Come on, man, I'm not a star. Bullshit. So let me update the link and we can kick it off. Okay. Okay, guys, are ready? I'll share and we can start. Alex is gonna join. Okay, do you guys see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, guys, so sorry for the delay. I hope that you didn't give up on us. This is actually the first webinar that we do with 6 speakers. So I figured, let's do more for less and obviously give more value for free. This is what we do. So the webinar today is going to be about Amazon Q4 success recipe, AI, PPC, AI repricing, product research, brand scaling, logistics, and taxes. And I'm Nick Penev, the partnership manager with hellotax and the founder of Extreme Power Brands. I have the pleasure to have so many partners that I can do these great events with them. And the great thing is that they're all for free. So today we're going to talk about what are the challenges and what the partners who are with me here today can actually help out to navigate the waters, because as everybody has noticed recently, is not going to be easy sailing. Profits are going down, revenue is going down. So there is few things that you can do to actually still stay in business or even expand your business. But of course, to do that, you need to actually listen to our advice and other people in the space and make the next step. So today with me are also Mike Begg, the co-founder of AMZ Advisors. He'll introduce himself later on when he speaks. Ian Kaneshiro, head of sales from SellerSnap. Ganesh Krishnan, founder of AiHello. John Tilley, CEO of ZonGuru, and Alex Fridman, CEO of WAPI. I don't think Alex is here yet, but I'm sure he'll be joining in a second. So the agenda I forgot. Here. Oh, you're here, Alex. So we're all here. So Alex, you're gonna introduce yourself in a few minutes. So just to give us some shout out to the sponsors, the gold sponsor, Extreme Power Brands. It's my company, but it's the only sponsor today. We provide partnership as a service agency and a network with over 1,000 companies. So what we do, we help e-commerce service providers to grow through partnerships in the space. And as a giveaway, we're giving free partnership audits for free. And obviously you need to watch the recording and you're going to send you an email with the link how to claim that. But this is just a small portion of the giveaways we're going to give. And thank you for the patience. So we're going to pay you in giveaways at the end and a lot of free value. So this is now the agenda today. First, it will start John from ZonGuru. He's topic today is playing defense, how to identify your main competitors, movers and shakers during Q4. After that, I'm going to talk about the unsexy topic of taxes. But if you like it or not, one of the best strategies right now is to expand to Europe, because a lot of companies are not going there, and now is the time to do that if you're like a US company. Then Alex and WAPI, they're going to talk about the Amazon logistics issue and how to fix them. Then Mike is going to talk about how to scale your brand, tips to build a presence on and off Amazon, because always never put your eggs in one basket. So he's going to tell you more about that. Then Ganesh is going to tell you about PPC, the importance of using data analytics for advertising. And the last but not the least, Ian is going to talk about repricing in Q4. And of course, at the end, we're going to have a Q&A session. So if you have any questions, feel free to write them in the chat, because if you have to leave, you're going to watch the recordings or we're going to answer your questions. We have a set of over 10 questions already. So if you cannot wait, just leave and we're going to share the recording afterwards, and you can fast forward to the topic that is most relevant for you. So let's get started. Now, first with John, because no matter what we're doing, if you don't have a product, you don't need taxes, you don't need an agency, you don't need repricing, you don't need anything. Without a product, you don't start anything. So I'll let John share and introduce himself and tell how and why it's very important to do a product research and what they're doing to help you get started from the ground. So thank you for joining, John.
What's up, guys? Good to be on here, and awesome panel, guys. You guys are awesome. So I'm excited to hear all the latest and greatest for Q4. I'm based here in Los Angeles. I'm the co-founder CEO of ZonGuru. We have about 17 different tools in all of the major Amazon marketplaces globally that you can use. And I'm just going to touch on a few key areas today. As we kind of head up to Q4. I think this is not about product, right? We've got sellers on the call here. Yeah, product and the number one successful thing you can do for your business is choose a great product, and obviously we have a lot of tools to do that. But I think one of the second baseline things is to understand how to find the right keywords and how to optimize your listing so you get the best baseline going into Q4, whether that's to impact your PPC and make sure that that's running at its best. If you can ensure that you have the best listing versus your competitors, I think that's a really good place to be. So I'm going to touch a little bit on that. But I think the main thing about how we approach data from a ZonGuru perspective is, especially around, and I'm going to talk specifically around keyword research, listing optimization, is what we call contextual SEO. And what I mean by that is there's no point in just understanding, hey, what are the best keywords nowadays, at least. There's no point just understanding what are the best keywords that you have to add to your listing because they have the highest search volume. You need to understand that in context. And one of the main pieces of context is your competitors, right? Where are your competitors focusing? What keywords are they hunting and paying a lot for? And more importantly, where are they not focusing? Where are some of the opportunities that they're not focusing that you can really own, right? And so if you can understand that at a high level, where's everyone focusing and how to beat them, that's the best way to play defense, right? Because you can shore up against wherever they're attacking, but you can attack on some of the opportunities that they might not be finding. And the good thing is, I think with our product is that you find a lot of opportunity that you won't find with other software tools. Mike can attest to that. He uses ZonGuru, so he'll be able to talk a little bit to that not from my perspective. So those are kind of a couple of things that I want to show you. But I think the main point I'm saying here is going to Q4, understanding context where your competitors are focusing, right? And what are they focusing? What strategies are they implementing on their listing? And then number two, ensure that you have the best listing on page one, right? And that already puts you in a great ballpark to make sure everything else you do here that everyone else in this call is going to talk about is as impactful as it can be. And so I'll just share my screen and I'll just touch on a few interesting, unique things that you can see with our tool set that will help you understand who your current competitors are and obviously how to beat them. So I'm going to jump over and share my screen with you guys now. Cool. Can you guys see my screen? Yep.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. Thanks, Nick. Appreciate it. I like the way, Nick, that you're trying to pretend that it's still summer with that background. Over there in Bulgaria, it's already winter.
It is summer. It is going to be 30 degrees tomorrow and 4 degrees next week. So we can go surfing in the weekend and go skiing in like next one. So come to Bulgaria after the webinar, not now.
I'm actually in Bulgaria next week. You know that, so I'm going to see you in person.
Yeah,
so.
no, I know that.
Good. Okay, so if you see my screen, I just picked an example right literally before the session. This is a pickleball set. Everyone on this call, it's kind of an up and coming game, especially for those hitting 40. They get interested in this game, but there's lots of ways to bundle this. What I just want to show you at a high level is, if this is the product that you're selling, you want to understand, hey, who are my main competitors right now? Maybe, how well are they, how competitive are they? How long have they been around? You also want to understand what are they doing with their keywords and the optimizations, and how can I be better than them, right? So I've got a better baseline than any single competitor on page one for the main buyer keywords. It could be pickleball sets, it could be, whatever else it is, like padel. There's different names for. That's a different sport, but you guys get it. So on our Chrome extension, I think. This is a typical Chrome extension, but some of the things I want to point out here is, we have this overall niche rating capacity, and we look at the competition opportunity here. It says it's 35%. So the higher the number, the easier it is to beat the competition. So it is relatively competitive. I would say for the US, it's not actually that competitive. There's a lot of numbers that go into that, but some interesting ones are like listing score. Do they have EBC? How long have they been around for? This listing score is a very interesting one to look at, how well optimized the listing is. And that means like business health, review, consistency, EBC content. There's about 20 different points that go into this listing score. So if you want to truly understand who's the best scored listing here, you can kind of look through this. And obviously, if you show here, you'll be able to understand how well optimized your listing is, right? So that's one point to look at. The other really important one that I wanted to point out is this awesome thing that we have called brand analytics, right? Which is understanding right now, this month, this week, I think it's almost down to a week now, we understand which listings are getting the most clicks and conversions for your category on that keyword, right? So for pickleball set, which competitors are getting the most clicks and conversions, and that doesn't mean they're getting the most sales right now, or they're ranked in position 1 on page 1, but they are potentially on page 1 the ones that are getting most clicks and conversions from customers, and are the ones that are performing best this week of this month. And we have that integrated into the Chrome extension, so you can see the number 1 over here, the number 2, and the number 3, right? These are the ones right now that are getting the most clicks and conversions from customers. So understanding that they are probably your strongest competitors, they're getting the most traffic right now. What are they doing? Is it price? Is it lowest price? Is it number of reviews? Is it the image that they're using? Understanding what are they doing on their side to get that from customers. So they're getting the traffic, but they're getting the actual clicks. So that's really important. And then taking those and analyzing those competitors, right? And I'll show you how to do that. So that's a pretty unique feature that we have. And you can search for any single product on Amazon. You will understand who's getting the most clicks and conversions right now in this month. The second view is I just want to show you this, which is, and Nick, you watch my time, right? Because I don't want to run long, but the second thing I want to show you is our keyword tool. This is our keyword tool. I just ran it for pickleball set. We've got a number of columns in here, right? And a lot of data around here, relevancy, how much dollars you get from those keywords, search volume. We give you how many competitors are actually exact or broad matching for that in the title, so you know if they're targeting that keyword. We have brand analytics integrated into this. You can see it over here. But then we have this really interesting view, which is over here, which is every single one of there's 20 competitors in this analysis. So we give the 20 competitors and where they rank up to position 250 for that specific keyword, right? So, for pickleball set with net, you can see, this competitor here, who's your main competitor, he ranks for the most keywords. He's in position 31 over here, right? For pickleball kit, he's number 4, he's number 2. So depending on what keywords you're targeting, you can actually see who's ranking the best for those keywords at a high level, and more importantly, where are they not ranking, and how to target them. And that's really easy to do in this tool. I can just go here and I can say, hey, this is the guy who's ranking for the most keywords, 116. Let me look at all the keywords he ranks for in the top 25 positions, or even more interesting, what keywords doesn't he rank for in the top 25 positions? So I can just click here. Hey, he's not ranked for, a number of keywords in position 1, and I can go here and hit not ranked again, and I can see the second one, right? So you can see all the keywords that they don't rank for in those positions. So it's a really interesting way to kind of get in and use this tool. I clicked on one of them. That's why. Sorry, I'll show you this again. I was wondering why I was doing that. So if I just go here and I say, hey, all the keywords that they don't rank for, it's 184, right, in the top 25. And this guy, the second guy, is another one. So there's 164 keywords that both the top 2 competitors don't rank for. And I can filter that by search volume, get main search volume, and maybe I attack those 2 competitors by owning some of the other keywords. So these are interesting ways to understand where your competitors are focusing on keywords and where they're not focusing, and how to beat them. 2 more things that I'll just touch on, because I know I'm probably short on time, but once you understand the keywords, you can actually look at listings, right? So I've loaded 3 different listings here. The main ones on the competitor thing, and I've loaded the main keywords, and it shows you here is an optimization score, and it shows you how well optimized that listing is for those keywords. Typically, you would see something in the top 1%. I might have to add a couple more, right? And you can see, hey, these are the best optimized listings. But the point is, you get a ranking for each of those listings, and it pulls in everything on their listing, including, I'll show you right here, including the backend search terms. So if I go down here, you can actually see the backend search terms that your competitors putting into their listing, which could be interesting to see, hey, what are they putting in there? What are they targeting that's not in the front of their listing? So you can look at that. And then, the matter of beating that listing is you can just literally start to add any of these keywords that are highlighted in dark green, that are deduped. And as you add them, your score just improves, right? So depending on how you build your listing, you can immediately become the best listing on page 1. If I add all of these keywords to the back end, or to the listing, I'm already at 24. I'm double what any of those other competitors are. So that's a really interesting way for you to ensure you have the best listing on page 1. And the final thing I'm just going to touch on is we have a reporting system. This is really involved at the enterprise or the big brand level. You get access to reports. We have a number of different reports, but we can give you an overall size of the market share, how much of the top brands are owning of that market share, how are the top 3 most clicked and converted brands looking over time, are they changing, are they the same, and more importantly, who are the top movers and shakers. I'm not going to dive too much into this. This is a different category. I just brought one up, dog beds, but we can show you over time, over the last 2 years, who's grown the most, how much revenue are they earning, and who's the new player in the space, right? And there's ways to analyze this data. So at a very enterprise level, an agency or a big brand level, you can look at this over time and identify, hey, this is a competitor that's growing in the space. We kind of analyze the space based on your niche, and we will bring through the intelligence of the data, we'll bring forward, hey, these are the main competitors over time. This is how they're growing. These are the ones you need to watch out for. So we have a number of these kind of reports at the enterprise level that we have available as well. So you can at least go into Q4 understand, hey, which are the main competitors right now that are big ones, but who are also the smaller ones that are really growing that we need to watch out for, and use various strategies, even PPC strategies, to kind of protect our moat and ensure that we're getting as many sales. They're not getting sales off of us, right? So those are a couple of things I touched on. There's many other ones, but I want to show you some specific ones around context of understanding your competitors, and really how to kind of create your moat around them, but also where are they weak and how do you attack them. And I think ZonGuru at a high level does that better than any other tool, because we understand what competitors are doing and how to beat them, and we show that in our tools around that idea of contextual SEO. That's it.
Okay, thanks, John. So just to summarize now, you guys don't need to reinvent the wheel. Most of the products are already done, in the marketplaces. So just see where you can actually blend in and where your competitors are actually overseeing stuff, because you'll be surprised how many big brands are just thinking that they're big brands and they're going to succeed. Just use ZonGuru to actually see where you can actually make a dent, and now is the best time. You cannot expect to do the same stuff and get different results. I didn't say that, Einstein did that. But anyway, so now we're going to talk for something that nobody likes, me their taxes. Even right now when I get a call from my tax account, I get like goosebumps. So I just pretend that I didn't hear the call. But anyways, if you're gonna sell anywhere, and if you have no choice, you need to pay your taxes. Now in Europe, it's even more, strict, because, for example, if you want to sell on Amazon, the first thing they ask you, okay, give me your VAT number. If you don't have a VAT, they cannot sell. As simple as that. But somebody might ask, okay, why should I bother for the Europe? No, I'm selling in the USA. Of course, you are selling. But did you know that Europe has 700 million people here? 400 of those are people over 18, meaning these guys are all potential clients for you guys. So let me share my screen and give you some overview of why you should consider Europe if you're not doing so. Give me a second. So obviously, I mentioned earlier, the population, 400 plus millions new clients, 27 new countries. And the good thing is that Europe is still underdeveloped, because it's harder, because there's different languages, legislations. But as an overview, if it's early, you should go there. As simple as that. I've been selling across Europe for 20 years, 10 years. So I know from experience that even small markets deliver good results because it's still early there. So if you're selling in the USA, that's great. If you're doing 1 million plus there, great. If you're doing that, you should consider going to Europe, because you're going to transform your brand from selling to the biggest market in the world, which is the USA, to the biggest really, worldwide, because Europe is the biggest economy, combined. So you should consider that. If your competitors are not doing that, you're gonna actually be the first one. You're gonna take them over. And the last thing is, if you sell to a new big market like Europe, you'll be able to order more from your manufacturers, meaning that you're gonna decrease the pricing of your products that you're sourcing. And somebody would ask, okay, so what are the blockers? So the first one, actually, I'm not sure why my guys did it like the number 3, but having the right product. So you need to have the right product. You need to do the research for your competitors, and obviously you need to make the move. But after that, the one thing which is very important is the language barrier. We speak multiple languages. So because of that, don't use Google Translate or any tool. You need a local wise agency to actually do your translations for your listings, for everything. If you don't do them right, people are not going to buy stuff. Even English speakers, if you say, I forgot to practice in the States, is like when you go to soccer practice or football practice. In England, you say training. So if you don't do it localized, people are not going to buy your stuff. So it's simple. That's very important. And the one thing which is mandatory, of course, is the VAT. If you don't have the VAT, you cannot start selling on Amazon and other marketplaces. And after that, customs and logistics. The good thing is that I have all these partners in my network, and we've been doing that for a long time. So the only thing that you need to do is just come to me, and I'm gonna hook you up with everybody. Some of these guys are actually in the webinar, but there is plenty more. So just remember, having the right product, dealing with the VAT, because VAT takes around 3 months. In the meantime, you can arrange the customs and the logistics and the language translations and the localization. So these are the most important blockers that we actually can help you out to overcome them. And since I'm the partner manager of HelloTax, I'm going to give you some details about VAT in Europe. So this is some indication about the size of Europe, like Amazon. It's almost 1 trillion. That was like a year ago, and it has grown since then. eBay, more than $250 billion. Allegro, which is like one of the biggest marketplaces, like close to 200 millions. So Wildberries, these guys, I've never heard of them, but I'm not sure why we have them in the report. But there's like Zalando, Cdiscount. So there's plenty of marketplaces in Europe, and they're growing, because as I mentioned earlier, it's still early. People are not going to Europe because they think it's hard, and this actually gives you an opportunity to be the first one of your competitors. So just to give you more feedback about HelloTax, what we're doing. The founders of HelloTax are ex-Amazon sellers, and I used to be a client of HelloTax. When I sold my business, I was using HelloTax for my VAT components. So I know from experience why people are using them, because regular tax accountants, they don't know how to deal with taxes in multiple countries. And this is actually what HelloTax is solving. It has a software and helps online sellers to expand in Europe and obviously to be VAT compliant. And why you should bother about VAT in Europe? What do you need to know? You need to know your VAT liability. This is what you actually had in the past or in the present in all the markets that you have been selling. This is the first thing. Then you need to register for one or more VATs. This is based on where you're holding your stock. One is the minimum, and this is usually how you recommend people to get started. The third thing that you need is to have a view of your movements of goods across the European markets, because this needs to be reported as well. And the last thing is to have complete visibility of your sales channel. So if you're selling on Amazon, Shopify, you need to report that. If you don't report that, they can penalize you. It's your responsibility as a seller. And this is something that we're doing for brands to actually just connect their account and they forget about it. We take care of everything. So somebody and people ask me all the time, okay, Nick, where should I start in Europe? I went to Amazon. Amazon told me do the pani. Okay, don't listen to Amazon. I mean, Amazon makes money from the fees, and they would love you to do like 5 or 7 VAT registrations, because of course you're going to do all the other fees as well. But to start in Europe, you just need one market, and that's what I always recommend. Start small, test, and expand, because having the VAT in one market, for example, Germany, which we recommend, would allow you to sell to all the markets across Europe without the need to establish multiple VATs and multiple storages. But if you don't want to go to Germany, the other options that we recommend are Italy, and Poland is one of the easiest markets because it's close to Germany. And the one which should be your last option is Spain, because they take around 4 to 5 months. They require original documentation. So unless you're like a Spanish speaker coming from LATAM or Central America, don't go there, because it's the hardest. Germany is the easiest, and I'll mention in a few minutes why we recommend that. And somebody would ask, okay, why do we need to register VAT? You know, there is few reasons. The first reason was the distance selling threshold, which is no longer valid since last year. You know, you can actually opt in for the OSS. And here is another good news. If you're using Amazon, you don't need to worry about the OSS if you're a non-US seller, because Amazon is going to use their OSS report, meaning that you need one VAT, let's say in Germany, and you can deliver to clients across the European Union from this location. So this is actually very good news, because it was done to encourage sellers to expand in Europe without doing multiple VAT registration. And the second reason is storage in a single country. So if you store goods in any single country in Europe, you must have VAT. As simple as that. So if you store in one, you need one VAT. If you store in 5, you need 5 VATs. As simple as that. So these are the reasons. And some good news from March. You know, everybody knows about Brexit, but actually Amazon was doing a pilot for almost a year, and they reopened the European fulfillment network. So right now, sellers from the UK can fulfill to Europe as long as their product is under 150 euro without going through the customs, and vice versa, the EU as well. So this is great news, because many sellers who are not able to sell, they can resume selling right now. But the important thing is that your products must be under 150 euros. Otherwise, you will need to go for customs. And of course, there will be a delay, etc. So I'm going to share the presentation later on, so we'll be able to see the details. But the high-level overview is that you can still sell from the UK if you qualify based on the sale price of your product. And the one thing that we always recommend, you know, when you come to Europe, if you're an English speaker, you can go to the UK, but we always recommend Germany. And the reasons for that are the following. You know, Germany is the second biggest market on Amazon, for example, after Amazon.com. The other good thing is that if you're a US seller or English-speaking seller, they accept documents in English, so you guys don't need to do translations. Another benefit. The third one is there is a specific tax authority which deals with US-only companies. So if, let's say, if I'm a Chinese seller, I would wait 4 months. If I'm a US seller, I'll get the VAT in 2 months. So US sellers have priority, and a lot of companies don't know that. And the last but not the least is Germany is located in the central Europe, meaning that it's an ideal logistics hub. Alex is going to talk more about that, but this is like a high level overview why you should go there. Biggest market, no need for translations if you're an English speaker, dedicated tax authority just for US companies, and a central location. And to do that, if you're selling on Amazon, If you're a non-EU company, you just need one VAT there, which we can set up for you guys. It would take 2 to 3 months. If you're a non-EU company, you don't need the OSS registration. If you're EU-based company, you need to get the VAT in Germany plus the OSS registration, and you will be able to do sales across the union. And of course, we have a customs partner who can help out with importing your goods to Europe. And we're going to do the VAT monthly filings and the OSS quarterly filings if you have that. So I'm not going to show you the software, but I'm going to do like a brief overview of what we do. The software was built by Amazon seller. So this is how it looks like. You log into your account, you connect your Amazon account, or you upload your Shopify transactions. We get the data, the software calculates that, we file the report on your behalf. If you're a non-EU seller and selling on Amazon, Amazon is going to collect the VAT on your behalf, so you don't need to do anything. If you're EU-based seller, you would need to download the VAT return and pay that. As simple as that. Connect. Your responsibility is to connect your sales channels or upload them, and we do the rest. And we have account managers and consultants speaking multiple languages, so it's like a SaaS solution plus the managed service on the back end. So it's easy. Of course, if you listen to our advice and don't go into multiple VAT registration, because different countries take different time. So you go into a lot of bureaucracy, BS, and you don't want to do that. I'm going to send you an email with like our demo to check it out, because we have some great giveaways that we're doing right now. Every webinar, we're giving 6 free VAT registrations. Each one is around €300. So if you want to get started in Europe, get in touch and we'll help you out. So I hope that I didn't bore you guys. I'm trying to make taxes educated as possible, but it doesn't work out always. So, and now guys, after the taxes, we're gonna move to the next speaker, which would be Alex. And logistics and taxes, they're best buddies. We cannot go one without the other. So he's going to introduce himself. They're great partners of mine, and he's going to tell what they're doing and how they're helping out sellers. So thank you, Alex, for joining, and tell us more about you guys.
Thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me. So hi, everybody. I'm Alex Fridman. I'm a CEO and founder of company WAPI. We're the fulfillment and final mile delivery and marketplace aggregator in Europe. So we have built our own pan-European logistics network. And today I'm going to talk about Amazon logistics issues and how to fix them. That's very funny when WAPI, like WAPI is still talking about how to fix Amazon logistics issues, but there are a few. So before Q4, I want you to know about them. And probably you will write something down and it will help you not to have some headache. So can I try to share the presentation with everybody?
Yes, you can do that. You should see the green button, share screen.
Do you see the presentation?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. So that's me again, Alex Fridman. So the first thing, the presentation, I will try to do it very fast with some exact tips and then how to fix them. So challenging thing with Amazon is rejections when you are trying to send the goods there. So be careful, it's Q4 and you want your stock to be ready and to be sold. So all the boxes must be bagged or covered in stretch wrap. They must be covered in packaging type, be made of, boxes must not, right? This is in red. I'm reading and thinking this wrong. They're not be bagged or covered in stretch wrap. Or if the Amazon receive this, they will reject it. So they're not have to be covered in packing type, be made of wood or metal, be secured or bundled together using plastic straps or any tape. So if this happens, Amazon will reject it. Hard to get, be careful, know that it is hard to get a time slot for a delivery appointment. So actually in Europe, it's much easier for you to use partner carriers. Then you will not have to wait for a very long time for a time slot. Just I think for the beginners and for everybody, just don't try it. Use the partner carriers. It's much easier. So the rejections, avoid the rejections. Why you can get the delivery rejection in short. So if you have no booking schedule, more pallets delivered than stated in the booking form, early or late delivery, unsafe vehicle or unsafe pallet, pallets exceeding height or weight limit, damaged freight, no delivery paperwork, or offensive behavior or lack of cooperation by drivers. For logistics, it is something that we deal every day with, but in sales, most of the time you want to think about your product or marketing, how do you to boost your sales. And if you make one of these mistakes, you will have huge trouble. One more thing that you have to know about Amazon, that Amazon is really bad with the returns. So actually Amazon is not checking them. They put the returns back into the stock. And then when the next sales happen, they can send the returned that the returned item that is broken. So here are some statistics that the amount of return in different segments like auto parts, apparel, home improvement, housewares. So what you can do and what other sellers do, they put their warehouse address at the return point. So not to return the goods back to Amazon stock, but return it to the separate warehouse, but you have to have one in Europe. So if you're a seller from Europe, probably you have a warehouse. If you're a seller from the other countries outside of Europe, you will have to find a warehouse. Then you're secured that the returns, even if they're damaged, they will not get instantly into the stock for the following buyers. So how to sell easier and cheaper in Amazon into 2022? According to logistics, the first tip is use FBA prep service. Somebody, of course, you know about this. For the newcomers, it can be something new. So why WAPI helps Amazon sellers is because we have in Germany, as it was said, the Germany is most wanted country in Europe. In Germany and in UK, we have our warehouses that prepare the goods for Amazon. Yes, even when you use FBA service for the delivery, our clients, they store the goods at our warehouses. We prepare the SPDs or LTL and send it absolutely properly through the Amazon partner carriers and avoid any rejection. And it helps a lot for Amazon sellers, especially in Q4 when Amazon storage prices like skyrocket. And if the turnover of your goods on Amazon warehouse is not as good as Amazon wants, you will even have huge fees. The FBA prep service helps you very much because you can store part of your stock at our warehouse and then deliver only the amount that you need to Amazon. So you can use the FBA prep service and have properly packaging and preparing units to help reduce delays in receiving time, protect your products well in fulfillment centers, and create better customer experience. And what is also very interesting that you can use our fulfillment network if you would like to go for FBM, or if you would like to sell through alternative sales channels. There is in Amazon, there is multi-channel fulfillment system, but actually it works not very good. And sometimes it's very expensive. So you can use WAPI not only when you need FBA prep service, you can also use us when you need the final mile delivery. So in every country that you see, we have 24, 48 hours delivery. We're integrated to couriers, integrated to warehouses. In some of the countries, even integrated with local marketplaces. So it's just an additional opportunity for you. So with some more advantages, you can see the slide of working with WAPI. I don't and if you have more questions about logistics, I tried to be very short because my team told me that I have only a few minutes. So please, here is the contact. Scan the QR code, ask us the questions about the logistics, anything. We will try to take all the headache about the logistics from you and solve it so that you will think only about the great product and your marketing strategy. If you will use the promo code hellotax, we will have huge bonuses for you. So thank you. That was about WAPI.
Okay, thank you, Alex. I hope that you guys are that quick with the packaging and the other stuff that you do, because I know my biggest issue running the e-commerce business for 10 years was logistics. I was never able to find a partner, and I was doing mostly cash on delivery, which was nightmare. So anyways, guys, now we're gonna hop to the next speaker, which is Mike from AMZ Advisors. And Mike, we already have a question for you. Okay. The question is from Milena. Could you tell me what they have to do to sell in the USA? I'm from Italy, so you have a question already.
Yeah, well, that's a good question, and I'm sure we'll talk about that a little bit more. But it really depends on where your business is, and that's kind of where I wanted to take the conversation, actually. So I'll just start with some high level stuff, and then we can move into the slides, and then I'll probably answer that question during the presentation. So when we're talking about scaling a brand, there's really two things that we need to take into consideration to begin with. First is, are you ready to scale a brand, or are you still just a seller that's trying to get by making money online? If you don't have the right cash flow to actually invest into building a brand, you're going to probably constrain your growth on the Amazon platform or whatever other e-commerce platforms you're selling on. It's not that you can just immediately start scaling a brand without investing into whether it's SEO, paid advertising, content marketing, whatever it may be that you're using to grow your brand. It's going to take money. It's going to take cash flow. And if you need to keep putting that money into inventory right now, you're probably not positioned the right way to be able to scale. The other concept that you need to think about is a sales funnel. And there's really two sales funnels that exist, or two of the best sales funnels that exist right now are Amazon, number one, and the other one being your own website, whether it's built on Shopify, BigCommerce, whatever it is. Those are where you're actually going to be able to achieve a funnel and then have the funnels feed back into each other to make something that is a positive feedback loop. And it takes time to build that. Again, it takes money. So let's talk a little bit more about how you can start scaling these things both on and off of Amazon. Here's my screen. So I'm just going to hide that quickly. And we're going to talk about a few different things. Obviously, optimizing product listing pages. That's mainly on Amazon. Creating branding consistency across multiple platforms. That's incredibly important to make customers remember your brand when they see your product somewhere else. Investing in Amazon ads, and that comes in different forms, and we're going to talk about that as well. Building a platform, building a website or your own platform to sell your products. Leveraging influencer marketing. That's also extremely important. Expanding your product catalog as your brand grows. And again, not constraining your cash flow by investing into other SKUs when you're not ready to expand that way. And then finally, exploring new marketplaces where we can touch on, expanding to the US from Europe, or from the US, from Europe to the US, or any other marketplace in the world. So first of all, and again, I'm going to stay really high level on this and try to move through it quickly. I know we're running a little short on time. So listing page, optimizing your product listing pages. I know John mentioned it before. We are a ZonGuru partner. We use ZonGuru's technology to help us optimize a lot of our listings as well. The big thing you need to think about, especially with Amazon, is getting your products retail ready. And retail ready means that you have optimized images, you have A+ content, you have video on the listing, you have 15+ reviews, you're using FBA, or you're winning the buy box to make sure that your product can actually be fulfilled. There's a lot of different ways to optimize. The way we focus on titles is using the experiments on the Amazon platform to try to create a title with the best ranking keywords, or with the keywords we're trying to rank the most, that also has the best click-through rate, meaning that we're getting the most people to our page and the highest conversion rate. So those are going to be the two important things that we're focused on when we're optimizing for title. With images, mainly we focus on telling the main benefits or what the customer is going to get out of whatever the product is in the images. So having Text overlays is a great way to explain what your product does or how your product makes the customer's life better. It's really future pacing them and getting them to purchase the product based on what they're seeing. Images are the first thing you see when you're on the mobile app, so that's why we focus on that, because more and more shopping is moving to mobile. So if you're not capturing their attention immediately, they're never going to see the text that explains everything else and the bullet points, which is further down. And then the other ones, description, bullet points, keywords. Yeah, we're using a lot of that copy around, a lot of the sales copy around how things are beneficial, but also using the keywords that we're generating from tools like ZonGuru to really help us optimize the keywords for SEO and optimize our ranking capabilities. The next step, like I said, building brand consistency across multiple platforms. I see this very frequently where maybe a client comes to us and they have a great website, or they drive a lot of traffic to their website through whatever other marketing efforts they have. And then they look at their Amazon listings and the products look completely different. There's no imagery consistent between them. There's a different color scheme. Their voice of the text is actually different. And that's why it's really important to create the same experience across multiple platforms. If you're not using the same colors, if you're not using similar imagery, if you're not creating the same feeling within the copy, it's going to make your customer consider purchasing a different product, or maybe even make the customer think that this isn't part of your brand, or this is a knockoff product, and that's not what you want. You want to create the same brand experience on both. And the way to do that, especially on Amazon, is not to create super keyword heavy copy. If you get too heavy on the keyword copy, it's going to have the opposite effect, and it's going to be probably going to turn customers off from actually purchasing the product. Next step would be investing in Amazon ads. Obviously, within the platform, there's a lot of different ads you can talk about. And when we're talking about the sales funnel, as I mentioned before, you really start at the bottom of the sales funnel. How do I convert the most customers? Then you start moving up. How do I get more customers in market to start considering my product? And then top of funnel, how do I get customers that are similar to my existing customers to come to my product pages and potentially see if they're interested in my product? That's how you increase the reach, and that's the awareness, the consideration, and then the conversion phase. So those are the three ways you want to look at it. When you're starting out, you're obviously at the bottom, you're trying to drive as many conversions as possible. And then once you have that money to start scaling, you start moving up the funnel. So you start moving into consideration and awareness. And then once you're already in awareness, the best tool that you can use on Amazon is DSP. DSP gives you the capability to retarget audiences, gives you the capability to do lookalike audiences. So it's a really powerful advertising tool once you have the traffic and once you have the money to invest in the platform. Outside of Amazon, we're going to start talking about a little bit now, and that's building a website for your business. So there's a lot of different platforms you can use. You can use WordPress with WooCommerce. You can use Shopify, Wix. There's almost unlimited number amount. The most important thing is that you have a website that's functional, and you have a website that traffic will actually convert on, or will actually drive traffic to wherever you want to. So the reason I say drive traffic to wherever you want to is there's two different ways to use this. One, you can use your website to actually convert customers on it, and you can start building out your email list. The other way that you can use your website is actually an interesting way that some brands are starting to do now, and that's actually pushing traffic back to Amazon. A really good example of this is Liquid Death Mountain Water. They generate, I forgot the numbers, a couple 100,000 users to their website a month, and they don't have a checkout option on their website. All that traffic feeds back to Amazon. And from there, it's driving more conversions, which is creating a bigger lookalike audience, which is creating more retargeting capabilities. And Amazon has higher conversion rates than their website would. So potentially they're generating a lot more revenue, a lot more brand exposure by using their website and whatever their off-platform marketing tactics are to get people back to Amazon to purchase and then feed back into that funnel that I was talking about at the DSP level. Leveraging affiliate and influencer marketing. This is the next step, or another step in building your funnel out and actually scaling your brand is how can I create more brand awareness or more discovery? TikTok right now is one of the best ways on the influencer side. The advertising costs are increasing, but the number of impressions that you can get is still relatively cheap, depending on what influencer you're using. The strategy I usually recommend with influencer is using micro influencers, so people that have typically less than 10,000 followers. their costs are going to be a lot lower, especially if you're working with them on creating content. They're not going to charge you as much. But then the videos, they typically have really engaged audiences as well if you find the right influencers that are micro influencers. So having them create the content for your brand or for your product and then running that as an ad is a great way to actually drive more influencer awareness and more traffic to your website or to Amazon, wherever you're trying to. And then affiliate marketing is similar, partnering with with influencers or with blogs or whatever it may be to drive traffic to your website. I also call this link building from an SEO standpoint. I think that's another great way of looking at affiliate. If you're reaching out to blogs within whatever your category is or whatever your niche is that are relevant to the product, they also will have their own SEO traffic. Getting placements within the website is a good way to consistently drive traffic over time and help you build the number of visitors that are coming to your listings on Amazon or your website or wherever you're going. And then finally, the next step is expanding your product catalog. Again, thinking about cash flow, don't do this too soon. But once you have the cash flow, once you have moved beyond just a business that is, just making money to survive and keep reinvesting into inventory, you can start looking at expanding your catalog to related products. One great way to do this is just getting feedback from your customers, finding out what they like, what they don't like. You can review customer reviews. If they're purchasing through your website, your email list is a good way to reach out to them and ask them what they're looking for, see what they're interested in, or get more feedback from them on things that you can improve or things that you can change. And that'll give you more and more ideas on ways that you can expand your product catalog to your existing audience and probably have a pretty high conversion rate from that. And last of all, once you've kind of considered all these, the next way to scale your brand is actually expansion. I don't recommend expanding too early because, again, from a cash flow standpoint, if you don't have the resources to invest into those markets, it's really challenging. So it is easy to expand from the US to Europe and even from the Europe to US. But if it's not your native language, if you don't have someone on your team or an employee or someone that can help you manage advertising or manage the content or manage customer service in that language, it's going to be a lot more challenging for you. For example, with Germany, we have a German specific advertiser who is a native German speaker who runs the advertising there and makes sure the copy is good. They manage everything there. I wouldn't use someone in another country. I wouldn't use someone even from the US to manage a marketplace in Germany unless they were a native German. So the language barrier is one of the big things you can look at there, and you need to think about how to deal with that. Like Nick mentioned, localization is extremely important. And then vice versa, if you're coming from Europe to the US, there's a few different things you want to consider is, are you going to set up a business in the US? Are you going to partner with a distributor or a seller to sell the products on your behalf? And this is kind of getting into that question. It really depends on what your capabilities are and what level of investment you want to make into going into the US. The US is the biggest Amazon market. It's also the most competitive, which means that your advertising costs and a lot of, even right now, fees and everything from FBA and other charges like the fuel surcharge and things they're adding are making it more and more expensive, and it's squeezing the margin even more. So if you're really not ready or it's not making if you're concerned about the margin you're making or your cash flow is a little bit constrained, it's really not the time to consider expanding to the US. There are other less competitive markets like within Europe, like within Asia. We're seeing Australia, India, and Japan growing a lot, and those are good markets to get into. A big focus for us as well is Latin America. I live in Mexico. Our team is spread across Latin America, Europe, and Asia, so we have a different experience in all of those marketplaces. So if you're looking to expand to the US or to Europe or Latin America, we're glad to talk about that. And that is pretty much what I'm going to be covering. That was a really fast run through on everything, but just to say it again, if you're looking for help with expansion to actually growing and managing your sales on a different marketplace, please feel free to reach out. Or if you have any particular interest in expanding to Latin America in general, let us know, because there's definitely a lot of ways that we can help you with that. So.
Okay. Thanks, Mike. And WATAM, nobody's talking about WATAM. It's a huge market. So go to Mike, and then he'll hook you up with with some stuff. And there's other stuff, besides nice weather and nice parties
Of
and all this
course.
stuff. So and now we're gonna move to
There it
the
is.
exactly. Okay.
That's exactly it. That's a perfect example right there. Liquid Death has
Liquid
grown their
Death.
brand awareness everywhere, and everyone loves it.
Yeah, bought off Amazon.
Okay.
Proven point.
Okay, guys. So now we're gonna talk about PPC because without paid ads, you cannot scale. It's simple as that. I mean, you can. And so Ganesh is gonna tell more about AiHello himself and what they're doing to actually scale brands. And hey, Ganesh, thank you for waiting. Now it's your turn. Tell us more about you guys.
Hey Nick, thanks for the introduction. My name is Ganesh. I'm the co-founder of AiHello. Previous to this, I used to sell on Amazon, and I have around 15 years of experience on e-commerce field. I used to work for eBay. I used to work in data analytics on eBay. Started off, having my own store, and then I moved on to the software. So over the course of my lifetime, I've noticed there are 4 different kinds of sellers when it comes to advertising. And as you've seen, in the previous panelist, what they talked about, when you talk about US, what Mike talked about US, it's very competitive. So the way to get across this competition is for advertising. And a lot of the people make mistakes with advertising. They think it's like a casino. You just put some money and then you hope to get some money back, and they fail. So my learning over the last 15 years of e-commerce sellers is roughly 4 kind of sellers. One is they create the ads, they put the bids, and then they pray to their gods. So let's hope it works out. Usually these people are the first to fail. There's a statistics that says that about 90% of Amazon sellers fail on the first year, and that's due to ads. They spend a lot of the money on the ads. Sometimes if they buy an item for $10, it costs them $15 or $20 to sell. So not only do they lose the inventory money, they lose on the ads as well. The second kind of people that learn from this, they either change the bids regularly, or they have an agency, they outsource it to an agency, and they say, okay, can you go ahead and change my bids regularly? Can you update the bids regularly? Can you make sure the bids are updated? And there's a lot of campaigns, there's a lot of keywords, but they still depend on the agency. Finally, the biggest group that we are seeing growing right now is the use software algorithms. So they have a kind of a rough algorithm that says if the ACOS has gone up by 30%, reduce the bid by 20%. If the click-through rate has gone up by 10%, increase the bid by 10%. This is usually what we recommend as a very bad idea, because you could have something known as a death spiral, where a keyword doesn't perform for a limited time due to holidays or something. Then your software is going to continuously reduce the bid. It could be a good performing keyword, but you never get an opportunity. So finally, the biggest sellers that we come across, these are the Fortune 100 or Fortune 500 sellers. They always use machine learning and automation, right? And what it means is they look at the historical bid of a keyword, they look at the historical conversion rate of a keyword, and then use automation to update the bid every single hour. So why do you need to update the bid? That's the first question, and we'll come to that right now. So the formula for an ACOS is the cost per click divided by conversion rate, which is divided by the average order value. So if you want to find out the ACOS, you just use this formula, and then CPC, which is the bid, divided by conversion rate divided by the average order value. So using this formula, we can use the bid. The bid is the conversion rate multiplied by average order value multiplied by ACOS. So here you notice that everything is constant except the conversion rate. So if the average order value is how much you sell your product for, and your ACOS target is 30%, average order value, for example, is 100, then your conversion rate needs to be conversion rate multiplied by average order value multiplied by ACOS. One thing to keep in mind is that the conversion rate changes almost every hour. So the conversion rate, in the morning is sometimes really low. This is a typical customer that we come across. The conversion rate is best around 7 p.m. But for some of the keywords or for some of the product, the conversion rate could be the best in the morning. So as you can see, if the conversion rate keeps on changing, the bid needs to be updated, because your ACOS will keep on changing. In retrospect, what you need to do is, if you have how many campaigns and how many keywords, you need to go in and constantly update, get the conversion rate, get the order value, and then update the bid so that you can hit your target ACOS. If you don't do that, then your target ACOS is always not hit, and you are either too high or too low. So it sounds very simple, but it's not so fast, because if you have thousands of keyword, then you need to go and then you need to check the conversion rate for each keyword. You need to check the average order value and then update the bid. And this is actually not fun, or it's quite right impossible. And there is no way a human could, even predict what is the conversion rate going to be for the next, 12 hours or for the next 1 hour. And this is where we say, software exists for a reason. If there is, use it. And we use this kind of a formula to update your bid. We know what is the conversion rate going to be for your keyword, and then we act on the future for your present. That's all there is. I just wanted to cover one micro topic of AiHello, which is optimizing the bid. This is something the Fortune 100 and 500 companies do. I think you could take a page out of the book and then replicate their success story onto yours.
Okay, thank you, Ganesh, for the quick
welcome.
insight. And now at the end, the last but not the least, we're gonna talk with Ian from SellerSnap about pricing, because it don't need to have the lowest pricing, you need to have the optimum pricing. And this is what SellerSnap are doing. Ian is gonna introduce himself and what they do, because they're very important, especially right now. So thank you, Ian. Thank you for waiting. And now it's your turn.
Yeah, thank you, Nick, for having me. It's really great to be here, and tough to go after all these speakers. But also, Mike, you had me hooked on the liquid death when you were speaking about it. John held it up, and now it's already in my Amazon cart. I just need it. So someone's getting an affiliate cash out here, but I just got to know who.
Yeah, I think I gotta actually work on an affiliate link for that. I don't have one right now, so
shoot that over. I'll click on it, no problem. Cool, guys. So I'll be kind of quick since we're at the end of our day here. But today I'm here to talk a little bit about pricing and repricing during Q4. Maybe it kind of fits. I'm at the end of the webinar, and because we're at the end of our year, and we'll maybe consider myself the Q4 of this little chat. So we're going to talk about pricing and repricing today. Here at SellerSnap, we talk a little bit internally about this term that we call Repricing-omics. And Repricing-omics basically is the branch of knowledge that goes in and into how do we price and reprice our items. And so that takes into account everything from our COGS, our cost of goods sold, Amazon fees, our competitors, both in the buy box if I'm a reseller, or even the other competitors that I am competing against with my brand. If I'm selling, sparkling water, we obviously know that I have a ton of different competition out there. So Repricing-omics might be a term that you hear when speaking to SellerSnap or throughout this presentation. But basically what SellerSnap does is that we are an AI Amazon repricer. And what we do is we aim to get the buy box at the optimal price by avoiding price wars. And so the way that we do this is we scan the competitive environment in order to understand the decisions our competitors make based off of the decisions that we make. And then from there, the goal is to grab the buy box and drive conversions in that way. So historically, we've been focused on sellers and resellers, and more recently, we've developed some tools to help with pricing for brands and private label as well. But today, I'm not going to talk so much about repricing, but I'm going to talk about some of the factors that affect us during repricing, and especially during Q4. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is the peak fulfillment fee. So if anyone hasn't heard about the peak fulfillment fee, it's something that you got to get on right away. Mike was talking earlier about how selling on Amazon is getting harder and harder because we as sellers are getting squeezed more and more in our pricing and in our bottom line. And so for anyone so basically Amazon has put in this new fee that's running from October 15th of this year until January 14th of next year. That means on January 15th is when the change is going to happen, where on average, they're changing the FBA. They're changing the FBA fee about 35 cents per item. And this is strictly on the US and Canada FBA environments. So for the EU sellers out there, you're safe for now. But the important thing to note is that these fees still include the inflation and fuel surcharges that we've been seeing throughout the year. So this is something that is an additional fee that is short term for the holiday season. So Amazon can help cover their increased fulfillment and logistics costs throughout Q4. And one interesting thing to note is that because it goes all the way through January 14th, it means that even Amazon sees that Q4 doesn't end on Christmas, like a lot of sellers think. It actually goes through the beginning of January. So just kind of a side note about that. Make sure you have enough inventory to get you through those first 2 weeks of the year. So I'm going to talk quick. I'm going to give a couple quick examples of what we can see in these increases. For example, here we have a case for a phone. It's a standard small size in Amazon terms. And we can see during the regular year, the FBA fee would be $3.07. And the peak, but with the peak fee, it would be $3.28 in the Amazon fee. So it's a 21-cent increase, which at scale across multiple different listings, we can see will can kind of catch up and add up rather quickly. The next one is in regards to, another example is in regards to t-shirts. They've actually split the way that the fees are broken down into 3 categories. They called it core FBA, apparel, and dangerous goods. And so when t-shirts fall under dangerous goods, it's actually we see slightly larger increases here. It's about a 32-cent increase for apparel. And we're seeing similar jumps for dangerous goods, along with kind of large, heavy items as well that are being shipped by FBA. So if you're taking anything from this, is to go double check your margins, taking into account these inflated fees, and you have to do that by October 15th. And then you can also reevaluate that after the start of the year on January 15th, when that peak fee goes away. The second thing I want to talk about in terms of food for thought for Q4 is strategies to get around the logistic hurdles. We know that throughout the year, we're constantly adjusting, and those adjustments, whether you're a reseller or your brand or private label, can happen in specific intervals throughout the year. You know that at the beginning of the year, it might be a little bit less throughout the main chunk of the year. Through Prime Day, you'll be making more adjustments, but definitely during Q4, we need to stay on top of how repricing and logistics go hand in hand. And so one of the things that we need to think about is, in advance, have a game plan for how do I act when I have these different scenarios occurred. For example, when I send an item into FBA, I sell out, but I still have some back ordered items. How do I want to price? In Q4, if being back ordered is going to affect your velocity or affect your buy box share, you might want to make the decision to lower your price. But if it doesn't affect your velocity, maybe you'll hold fast or raise it. Other things to take into account are things like long delivery times for FBA items and FBA items that are not checked in yet. Because what ends up happening is sellers will look and see that, this isn't going to get here by the date that I need. And they might go out or customers might go out and find an alternative solution in order to, fulfill that gift that they want to give at the Christmas party or even by Christmas itself. So how do I want to price or reprice my items when it's going to take a little bit longer for my items to get to the customer? And the last one that you also might want to think about is, what happens if I'm the only seller in stock? Does that mean, and in that scenario, a lot of times sellers would want to raise the price. You want to make sure that you're maximizing that price per sale when you're the only one with inventory. So the main point about this slide is to make sure that we have plans in place about pricing through every single scenario that could possibly happen with my inventory. And then to go back to the talk that we had a little bit earlier with Alex is that we can also rely on third parties to help us fulfill when I do have those back order listings, long delivery time, or they're not checked in. Third party fulfillments are really helpful, or relying on my own warehouse is really helpful in order to quickly get those items into the hands of my customer during Q4, during crunch time. And so the first thing I spoke about had to do with the new Amazon fees, the peak fees. The second thing is make a game plan for overcoming logistical hurdles throughout Q4. And the last thing I want to talk about is to remember the people in your life. During Q4, we often have our nose to the ground, heads at our keyboard or in our warehouses or whatever we're doing. And it is a time that is money-making time. It's a time that companies are in the black. And that is a crunch time for businesses throughout the entire e-commerce space. But we also need to remember why we are doing it. So my last tip about Q4 is, do what you got to do for your business, do what you got to do for your work life, but remember your life outside of your work life, and remember the people around you as well. So that's it for me. If anybody has any questions about the new fees, how to handle logistical hurdles, please reach out. My email is here below. You can catch me on LinkedIn, or you can also reach out to one of our amazing customer success agents at SellerSnap at support@sellersnap.io. And thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you, Ian. And actually, this is a very good tip. No matter how much money you make, if you don't have time and friends and family to spend them, you don't have anything. So you don't want to be the richest guy in the cemetery. So make sure that you have a healthy work-life balance. So I'm not in the beach anymore, but I fully agree with that. So we have several questions. So let's start with the questions. You guys were very quick to the point, and this is very good. Once I was in a webinar with 6 speakers. We spent 3 hours. My ass was stiff at the end. So we did everything in a little more than an hour. So you guys are like very, very quick to the point. So let's start with the questions. The first one is from Milena Moto. The question is, I think it's for Mike. Could you tell what they have to do to sell in the USA? I am from Italy. We're in the cosmetics field and have a registered brand in the EU.
Yeah. So there's a couple different things to think about here. The first thing is that since you're a cosmetics brand, and that context actually helps me a little bit more, is you're probably going to need to get regulatory approval in the US of your products. For supplements, I believe that's with the FDA, and we have the contacts that can help you make sure that you have any approval that you need to bring the product into the country, because without that approval, you may not even be allowed to bring the product into the US. So that would be the first step. From there, it would just be a matter of opening up the marketplaces, getting your tax IDs and things like that. So the main challenge and hurdle you're going to face is the regulatory approval.
Okay. And just summarize now, Mike can recommend somebody who can help you out with that, right?
Yep. Yeah, we have a lot of contacts for regulatory approvals in the US for pet supplies, food, cosmetics, whatever you need. We know who to talk to.
Okay. And I have the tax guys on my side, so you can email me about that as well. So let's go with the next questions. But from the tax side, it's much easier than the EU. So it will be easier, at least once you get the regulatory approval. So a question from Saba. I'm not sure who would answer this question. How do we interact with shoppers directly via which platform? I'm not sure if you guys understand what the attendee is asking.
I think he's probably talking about shoppers on Shopify or WooCommerce, the own brand website.
Mm-hmm.
How do you interact with them? It's a frequent question that we ask. A lot of people use ManyChat, or they have automated order responder, so stuff like that. It depends on if you're talking of Amazon, where you cannot interact with the shoppers, or your own Shopify or WooCommerce site, where you definitely can, and you should.
Okay. Thanks again. Another question from Saba. I think this is for Ian. Don't you think shifting quote to FBM will have an effect on sales?
Yeah, that's a really great question. So in regards to shifting loads to FBA, the idea in Q4 is to maintain a high conversion rate. And so Amazon, markets themselves as the most customer-centric company on the planet. And so their goal is to put sellers in the position, or to put forward sellers, I should say, who are ready to fulfill the customer need. And so in the part about selling and reselling, if Amazon cannot get an item to a customer fast enough, but I can do it because I have a great deal with DHL or UPS or another third-party logistics company, then or Alex in the EU, I should say, then that's what they're going to do. And the customer, at the end of the day, most customers, it's really tough to realize, but when we all kind of live in this space, that most people don't realize that they're not buying from Amazon.com. They're not, putting money in Jeff Bezos's pocket. Well, they are, but that's not the point. The point is that they don't realize that it's third-party sellers on the other sides of this. And that, and so what they care about is, can I get that order in 2 days, or how fast can you get me my item? Not if it comes from Amazon's warehouse or some other warehouse in another location.
Okay, thanks, Ian. So let's continue with the rest of the questions. So the next one from Sebastian: can a non-EU business use OSS reporting as well? Yes, if you're using Shopify, you would be forced in a way to do that, because otherwise you would need to do multiple VAT registrations. If you're non-EU business selling on Amazon, you don't need the OSS because you're going to use the Amazon OSS report. So you just need VAT. One VAT if you store in one market, or multiple VATs if you store in more markets. I mean, as simple as that. So another question from Eugene: how should I start using Amazon advertising more? I'm not sure who is going to answer, probably Mike and Ganesh.
I didn't get the question, sorry. How should you start
how should I start using Amazon advertising more?
Well, if it's one word, you should be carefully. It's like, don't treat it like a gambling. Measure it out, start with one campaign, make sure you're getting the right conversion rate. If the conversion rate is good, then scale it up. So I would just say gradually start with one campaign, one SIN, check the conversion rate, and then keep on scaling up.
Okay, thanks, Ganesh. So another question from Wilfredo: what does it mean to be the official service provider of Allegro? Okay, I think we mentioned the marketplace earlier. I think this is for WAPI. I think you guys are one of their partners, right? We're also partners on the...
We're official service provider for fulfillment and for sales setup. So the beginning of the question was?
Okay, let me just read it again. Okay, what does it mean to be the official service provider of Allegro? That's the question.
First of all, it means that we have signed the agreement with them, and they have chosen us, they have checked us, and they say to all the sellers that you can work with us, and we will do what we say. We're checked by Allegro. This is the main thing. And what the services are, I told you. One is the fulfillment, so it's pick, pack, store, pick, pack, and ship in Poland. And we're shipping under the Allegro contract. It means that it is Allegro delivery prices. They're very cheap. Like nobody can do as cheap as Allegro can make the delivery in Poland. And also we help with sales setup. It means that we help with translation to Polish, to understand how Allegro marketplace working, what are the promotion tools there. We help to support the buyers if they ask something. So everything what is connected with sales setup and make your first steps on Allegro, we help you with this. That's official service provider.
Okay, thanks, Alex. There is one question. Hey, this is Naeem, this is a question for John. Can you tell us, I mean, we have an Amazon agency. How, I mean, when can we use your enterprise reporting? You know, I mean, is it suitable for like boutique agencies, or what is the minimum requirement? That's the question.
Yeah, thanks. I think essentially we're a really good fit with agencies that have at least probably at a minimum 10 clients. So if you have 10 clients or more, you're a good fit for us. And specifically, you know, we have a scalable kind of sub client project view for every single one of your clients. So if you really want to be efficient in terms of your operations, but be able to scale and oversee, you know, a portfolio of clients, we're a really good fit. If you're a little bit smaller than that, like if you have 5, we can absolutely chat. But if you're lower than that, it's probably better just to go with one seller account and kind of work with that. So if there's interest there, just email me direct, John, Jon at ZonGuru.com, and we can connect. And I can talk you through how that works, what you get access to, including all the types of reporting, and we can take it from there. Yeah.
Okay, thanks, John. Let's continue with the questions. The next one, I'm not sure who's going to answer, but where should I start driving traffic from outside of Amazon? That's from Nir Ravech. Where should I start driving traffic from outside of Amazon? I think this is for you, Mike.
Yeah, I think I can answer this one. So, I mean, I think the lowest barrier to hurdle, the lowest barrier to entry is TikTok. You really just need to reach out to a few creators on there. The TikTok creator marketplace is a good way to kind of filter for who you're looking for and you know, find whoever is in your niche. From there, you have to negotiate some way to pay them for it, and then whatever video content they create, that is the video content that you want to start using for advertising. So that is probably the most simple way to create video ads that you can use on the platform to start driving traffic to Amazon. Other ways like SEO link building is pretty easy, but it is a longer term play because you need to be on the right blogs, the right posts that have the right traffic. So, I mean, it's not the easiest way to get started in it. Other ways would be Google shopping ads, which are an easier way to do it as well. That could be another good way to start driving some traffic to your listings. So.
Okay, thanks, Mike. We move to the next question from Adrian. Can I use the old VAT regime instead of the OSS? That's for me. Yes, of course, if you want to do multiple VAT registration, we'll be happy because we make more money, but you shouldn't do that. I mean, you should use the new regime because it allows you to do one VAT and obviously use the OSS to fulfill to all the B2C clients across Europe. So it's much easier for you, much cheaper. So you should do that. You should take advantage of that. It was done to facilitate sellers. So don't use the old VAT regime, but of course, if you insist, you can do that. I mean, but don't. Another question that's from Trish. What are the other popular marketplaces in Europe and their advantage over Amazon? I think this is for you, Alex. You mentioned for WAPI, for Allegro already. So tell us more about the other ones. They're partners of mine, but you guys work closely with them because you deal with much more than taxes. So tell us briefly, about the other options.
The other marketplaces?
Yes, let me read you the question again. So what are the other popular marketplaces in Europe and their advantage over Amazon?
Cdiscount in France, it's Bol in Netherlands, it's eMag, it's Kaufland, it's OnBuy in Frugo in UK. I think, of course, the big ones like the eBay, Etsy, Joom. You can actually find a lot of other opportunities except Amazon. According to statistics that I have found, Amazon has only about 10% of e-com market, of European e-com market. So all the rest you should search like on local marketplaces and local markets.
Okay, see guys, no, Amazon sellers and US, it's still early. It's still 10%. So, and nobody can beat Amazon. I mean, if you like them or not, I mean, they have the best setup. So it's just a matter of time. The other guys are trying, but still it's really hard. It's good to, of course, diversify. But like I said, Europe, it's still early. So the early bird is the huge worm. So it's as simple as that. So let's go ahead with the last 3 questions and we can wrap it up. So from Anita. Anita, when do you think a brand should start investing in DSP? I think this is for you, Mike.
Yeah, so there's no right answer on that. Again, like with DSP, there's really different objectives that you're going to hit. And when we roll out DSP is when we've kind of gotten to a point with sponsored display where we're starting to max out our results and need to take it to the next step. So if you're not leveraging sponsored display yet and not trying to get the most out of that ad type on the platform, then it's probably not, you're probably not ready to move on to DSP. There's a minimum investment on DSP too. I think it's $10,000 in ad spend. So you also have to consider that. But if you've already started building out your funnel, you're already starting to, get results from sponsored product, sponsored brand, and sponsored display, then it's probably time to start considering, all right, how can I maximize the audience of customers that I've been building on Amazon to start using things like lookalike marketing, remarketing to existing customers, and a lot of the other features that DSP has. So.
Okay, guys, and we have the last question from Samantha. In regards to the fee increase, when exactly do the fees get applied to more orders?
I think that's for me.
Yeah, I think that's for you.
So the question was, when exactly do the fees get applied to the orders? It's a really great question.
Exactly.
So the date range officially is starting on October 15th. There is a catch though, because Amazon applies the fee to orders that are shipped on Amazon or on October 15th. So that means if you have items that are sold, a few days before October 15th, but it's not shipped until the 15th, then the fee will still apply. So it's something that we need to think about even starting on, the 12th, the 13th, the 14th of the month, in order to make sure that on the 15th, we're not losing money. But it's a really great question. So the short answer is, if it's shipped on the 15th, you will be charged that increased fee. Okay,
thanks, Ian. And that is the last question, guys. So before we go, the giveaways, you need to claim them, otherwise they stay for us. So let me tell you what we're giving away, and we'll send an email with all the details how to claim them. So here is the order from reverse. The people who spoke last, they get announced first for the giveaway. So first is like Seller Snap. They're going to give 10% off for 3 months of Seller Snap repricing, which would worth up to $220 in savings. I'm going to send the link to claim that. Then WAPI, they provide 6 months of WAPI service without a monthly fee. So you guys would be saving $900+. And I'm going to send the link to claim that after the event. What else? AMZ Advisors, you guys get a free advertising audit and a strategy call with them, value $400. ZonGuru is giving 2 free global niche analysis reports for your brand to get ready for Q4, and randomly picked from the webinars who claimed that first after the webinar. In the Wharf, you're getting 2 of these reports, and each one costs €400. Plus, you can get 20% off ZonGuru, which is available to everybody. We're going to send the link after the event. And also we have, let me see if I didn't forget anybody. Of course, I forgot. HelloTax, we're giving 6 free VAT registrations, $300 each. And my agency is giving away free audits for free, worth over $200,000 if you guys actually would like to claim them. So thank you everybody for joining. I think we're very quick, 6 guys in less than 1 hour and a half. So I hope that you enjoyed the show. Some of you already said that. I hope the rest are not lying. If nobody's saying anything, I guess you liked it. So I guess we can do more like that in the future. So thank you, Ganesh. Thanks, John. Thanks, Alex. Thanks, Ian and Mike, for joining tonight and early morning for you guys in the States. Enjoy the rest of the week, and we'll keep in touch. Bye, everybody. Thank you for watching.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.